All right, man, so you've been training all year. You never miss a workout, you're a junior or senior trying to get recruited. And you're stronger than you were 12 months ago. Your exit velocity is the exact same number it was last summer. Listen, man, you don't have an effort problem, you have a direction problem. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly where you're stuck at, why you're stuck there, and what you need to train to break through it. I'm giving you the whole system, so the assessments, benchmarks, the phases, pretty much all of it, nothing held back. Because the reason your numbers stop moving isn't that you're not working hard enough, it's that nobody ever told you what you were supposed to be working on. Before we get into that, just a quick background on me. So I'm a college strength and conditioning coach, and I've taken over 50+ athletes through this exact system remotely. Guys who've gained double-digit exit velocity, broken school records, and committed. I also spent 2 years of my own career stuck at the same number doing workouts I found online, hoping something would work, and it didn't. So everything I'm about to give you is the thing that I wish somebody handed me at 17. So here's the first thing you have to understand, and almost nobody explains this to high school hitters. Exit velocity is not just a single quality, it's actually two. It's about how much force you can produce and how fast you can produce it. So those are two completely different things, and they're trained completely differently as well. And there is a curve that maps this out. Strength coaches call it the force velocity curve. On the left side, you have heavy loads that move slow, maximum force, minimum speed. Think of a max effort trap bar deadlift. Now on the right side, you have light loads that move as fast as humanly possible. This is minimum force, but maximum speed. Think of a 4-pound med ball toss. Now, every single athlete sits somewhere on this curve for their deficiencies. And here's why that actually matters. Because a swing is 150 milliseconds. And that's it, man. Like, that's your entire window to produce force. So it really doesn't matter how much force you produce if it takes you 2 seconds to produce it. You don't have 2 seconds, you have a blink of an eye. And that's why the strongest kid on your team isn't always the one hitting it the furthest. Like, he can produce force, but he just can't produce it fast enough to actually translate and matter in the box. And it's also why the smaller kid who out-hits you isn't stronger than you. So when you train hard for a year and your number doesn't move, this is almost always what happened. You trained the quality you were already good at, and you got better at a thing that wasn't holding you back, which brings us to the framework. An exit velocity doesn't stall randomly. It actually stalls at 3 predictable points, and I call them the 3 ceilings. See, each one has a completely different cause and a completely different fix, and if you're training for the wrong ceiling, you can work as hard as you want and nothing will actually happen. So ceiling 1, if you're between 80 and 85 EV, you just cannot produce enough force yet, period. There's nothing to transfer, and your body simply hasn't built the engine. You live on the far left of the curve, and the fix is called absolute strength. You need to be lifting more heavy loads, low reps, and your basic movement patterns, your trap bar, your squat, your hinge, your press. Build a foundation. And here's what most guys do at this ceiling instead. They buy the bat speed trainer, they do overspeed training, med ball throws, all the explosive stuff that they see on Instagram, and nothing happens and they're surprised. That's because there's no point in training force to fire fast when that force isn't even up to standard. You're trying to speed up an engine that just doesn't exist. I had an athlete named Jack. He came in at 75 EV, he was 130 pounds, really did not have a great strength foundation. And for the first 3 weeks, his exit velo honestly didn't move too much. And he asked me if something was wrong, but nothing was actually wrong because that's what the build phase is supposed to feel like. You're just laying a foundation. And the number doesn't move too much while that foundation is getting poured. Now, week 6, he jumped from 75 to 85 EV in just a single session. And 2 months in, he was at 145 pounds and he was up 9 EV. And at this point, he's already 5 months in the program. We got him all the way up to 96 exit velocity. See, most guys, they just quit at week 3. They see a flat number, they decide the program doesn't work, they go find another one, and then they do it all over again. And that's why they're at the same number 6 months later. Okay, ceiling 2, this is between 85 and 90 EV. So if you're here, you probably have strength, it just fires very slowly. So you built the force and you never really trained it to move. So you're strong in the weight room, but you're average in the box, and it makes no sense to you because the numbers on the bar keep going up. So now you're sitting in the middle of the curve, and the quality you need is strength speed. This is moderate loads moved with maximum intent. The weight comes down just a little bit and the speed of bar goes up. Now here's the mistake at this ceiling. When the number stalls, guys just add more weight to the bar, because it's the only lever they know how to pull. And it makes them stronger and slower, which is the exact opposite of what they need. They're just compounding their deficiency. I coached an athlete named Dan. He's in Sydney, Australia, actually. I've never met him in person, not even one time, and he's 8 hours ahead of me, entirely remote training. He gained 11 EV and became the #1 catcher in Australia's 16U division. Now, I bring him up for a specific reason. If a kid on the other side of a planet who has never been in a facility with me can move his number that much, then this was never about facilities, equipment, or access. It was about programming, and Dan didn't get better because of where he trained. He got better because of what he trained and when. And ceiling 3 is between 90 and 95 EV, and this is by far the hardest ceiling to get out of. And it's where a lot of really good high school hitters actually get stuck for years. So you're strong, you're explosive, like what else is there to do? Your number still doesn't move. Well, the quality here is called speed strength. This is the furthest right on the curve. And you need to increase this quality. You do this by moving very light loads as fast as humanly possible. And this is where the force you've already built finally becomes bat speed. And here's the trap at this ceiling. Everything that got you here was strength work and probably a little bit of power training. So when you stall, your instinct is to do more of it. More weight, more volume, just more grinding in general. The amount of talented high school athletes that tell me they just need to grind harder is astonishing. Because that's the exact thing keeping you stuck. You already work hard, you already have the force. The problem was never those things. It's just how fast you can move and transfer it into your swing. Now, Julian was stuck at 93 EV for 8 months. Dude, 8 months, such a long time. He was building his own programs, he was adding reps, he was watching his swing over 50 times, doing everything he could think of. And he realistically hit the ceiling of what he could do on his own, and he stayed there for a while. And just a few months after we started, we got him to 101 exit velocity off a tee. He hit 430 that season and he committed. Notice, nothing about his effort changed. What changed was what he was working on. So how do you know what ceiling you're at? Well, grab a pen because I'm gonna give you the real numbers, my boy. So your exit velo off a tee is your primary indicator. Off a tee, not a machine, underhand, overhand toss. This is not the best swing you've ever taken either. Just generally think of your average. We go off the tee because that's the best indicator of your physicality. Now, under 85 EV puts you at ceiling 1. 85 to 90 is ceiling 2, and 90 to 95 is ceiling 3, and 96 and above, you're past all 3. Now, you have the number, which is great, but you need to confirm it with these 3 supporting tests. So the first one is a trap bar deadlift 1 rep max as a multiple of your body weight. So if you're under 1.5 times your body weight, you are below average. If you're between 1.5 to 2 times your body weight, that is average. 2 to 2.5 times your body weight is strong, and 2.5 times your body weight and up is elite. Again, a 1 rep max. Next is vertical jump. This is no approach step, so just standing vert. Under 22 inches is below average, 22 to 26 is average, 27 to 30 is strong, and 31 plus is elite. And finally, broad jump. Under a 7-foot 6-inch broad jump is below average. 7'6" to 8'6" is average. 8'7" to 9'6" is strong, and 9'7" and up is elite. Now here's how you read it. If your trap bar number is weak and your jumps are weak, you are definitely ceiling 1, you need force. If your trap bar is strong but your jumps are average, that's the tell for ceiling 2. You've got force, but it's really slow. The gap between what you can lift and what you can jump is kind of the problem here. Now, if your lifts are strong and your jumps are also strong and your exit velo still won't move, you're probably at ceiling 3. Everything is built, it's just not transferring and it's not becoming bat speed quite yet. So go test yourself this week. Like, take some time out of your day to get some real numbers, because guessing where you are is how you end up training the wrong thing for another 6 months, which I'm guessing you've already done. So now you know where you are, but what's the method for actually moving the needle? It's called triphasic training, and it's what I ran at the college level, and it's the backbone of everything my athletes do. So there's 3 phases, and the order is everything. You gotta make sure you're doing the right order. So phase 1 is the absorb phase. Every rep you take 3 to 5 seconds on the way down. This is slow, controlled, fighting the weight the entire way. This is the phase that everyone skips, and it's the most important one, because before your body can actually produce force, it has to be able to absorb it for your tendons, your connective tissues, and your ligaments. If you can't absorb force, you're gonna leak it, or you're just gonna break down. And a swing is one of the most violent absorb and redirect actions in sports, dude. Your whole foundation absorbs, your front side accepts it, and the energy has to travel. If that system is weak, you're screwed. Okay, so phase 2, this is the hold phase. Now this is where you pause at the hardest part of the movement, 3 to 5 seconds. Dead still and typically under load. Now this teaches your body to hold force in a stretched, loaded position without collapsing, which is exactly what your body does at the top of your load right before you fire. That moment where everything is stacked and loaded and hasn't released yet. That's what's called an isometric. If you can't hold tension there, you're gonna bleed power before the swing even starts. Okay, and then phase 3, this is the explosion phase. Now the weight comes down a little bit, you're gonna knock off some load, but the speed of bar is gonna go way up. You're gonna move as fast as humanly possible. This is where the force you spent 2 phases building finally turns into speed. And this is the phase that really shows up on the radar gun. Now here's why the order can't be broken. If you skip absorb and hold and go straight to explode, you're firing force through a system that can't handle it. You'll probably get hurt, or nothing's gonna transfer, or both. And if you never leave the strength phases, you build a strong body that has no idea how to move fast. And that's ceiling 2, that's most of high school hitters. You have to move through the phases in order, so absorb, hold, explode. You build it, you hold it, and you fire it. So that is a system, and I'm gonna be straight up with you, dude, about what happens next. You now have more direction than 95% of high school hitters. You know the curve and you know your ceiling, you know the phases. What you don't have is sequencing. So how many weeks in each phase for your specific ceiling? Which exercises for your specific deficiencies? When to move up to the next phase, and how to know it's actually working instead of guessing. What to do when your numbers stall, because they will. How to keep training in season without running yourself into the ground, and how to make sure any of it actually shows up in your swing instead of dying in the weight room. And I'll be honest, dude, that's the part I just can't hand you in a video, and I'm not gonna pretend I can either. That's the difference between knowing what to train and having a plan built around you specifically. Tested every 2 weeks and adjusted every single week based on what your numbers are actually doing. So if you want all that handled, that's what the Close the Gap protocol does. There's 3 pillars. Prime development is your physical system. This is where we implement triphasic training for everyone in the program around your specific deficiencies and tested every 2 weeks. Now, Major League Launch is your swing work. This is daily video feedback, so the strength you actually build transfers into the box. And finally is the standard separator. This is your mental game plan with Coach Ross. Because once your metrics jump, you have to actually trust them at 2 strikes. And there are 2 guarantees inside the program. If you're not happy in the first 30 days, you get a full refund, no questions asked. And if you do all the work and you don't hit your goals, we keep working with you at no cost until you do. If you want in, there is an application in the description. Fill it out and we'll get on a call. Both parents do need to be on it, no exceptions, and spots are limited. But if you don't apply, take the assessment anyways. Go test yourself this week and find out which ceiling you're at. And stop training for a problem you don't freaking have. I spent 2 years working as hard as I could in the wrong direction, and nobody told me any of this, and now you know it. Go take advantage of it, stand out, and don't settle.